What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Drop Miami. My name is Steve, and well, my shit broke. Yeah, basically, my diff, not the diff, but my diff bolt took a shit, broke in half. I think it backed out a little bit, and when I went to do a Bernie, it broke. So basically, we're gonna go ahead and have to do a bunch of work just to go ahead and take out a bolt. And since I basically have to do the hub bearing and all that good stuff anyways, we're gonna go ahead and tackle two birds with one stone. So you guys already know, Drop Miami, check it out. Alright, so at this point we're under the car, literally under the back of the car. You guys see here, that's a differential. Basically what I broke was the bolt that goes right over here. What I'm thinking I'm going to try to do, actually, to be honest with you, I'll probably end up taking everything out just because I need to inspect it anyways. I got to inspect everything, and I really don't want to do it, but I also have to do, let's see if I can point over here, the hub bearing. That's actually the axle I'm pointing at, but what the axle attached to is the hub bearing and the wheel hub. So I got to replace all that anyways, so I'm going to inspect all this. I'm going to check the bushings. We're going to take everything out. I really don't want to do it, but we're going to take everything out, get her done. You already know. My shit, bro! Alright, as you can see, we're in the bottom of the car. We got the differential exposed. Basically, we have everything ready to go. I went ahead and took out the axle bushings. They're looking pretty chopped and screwed. Went ahead and dropped the exhaust just a little bit. Also dropped the sway bar just a little bit. Basically everything was, like, you know, very, very easy to do. It's very simple and self-explanatory once you just look at it. Next thing to do is go ahead and take out the diff bolts, which are these two back bolts over here. Once those are out, basically ready to go out, and not to mention I took out the speed sensor as well. So basically it's pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, it's not very hard. Everything's like, you know, 13 millimeters and things of that nature, and it's very simple. Alright, so let's go ahead and try to take the sucker out. Alright, so basically in a nutshell, I went ahead and took out the differential already. Here it is. Sorry for the poor lighting in the video. It's basically all I got is semi getting dark. So I went ahead and took out the differential for right now. As you guys can see, hold on, where is it? You guys probably can't see. My shit, bro! The bolt is stuck in there, so we gotta go ahead and extract that bolt. Once I extract the bolt, I can put everything back in. Also, probably going to get to that wheel bearing, or that hub bearing, probably soon. We'll see. First things first, let me just go ahead and clean this up, make it look all pretty again, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so it is a new day. Basically, in a nutshell, what I've done so far is I went ahead and got the diff, went ahead and took it to a place to get it, the bolt extracted. Bolt is officially extracted. Now all that's left is to put everything back together, and then right after I'm done putting all this back together, is go ahead and take out, of course, the wheel bearing and the wheel hub. But for right now, gotta pop this sucker back in. So we're gonna do basically the opposite of what you guys just saw. So I'm gonna put a time lapse, we're gonna make it happen, and then I'm gonna explain a little bit something. So just so you know. Holy fuck, that was a bitch. But I don't know if you guys can see there. Bam! It's not in all the way, but it's up in its location. I'm just gonna go ahead and check everything out, make sure nothing's hitting or anything like that, and then I'm bring it all the way up, bolt up the back mounts, go get my bolt up the front just a little bit, hand tight everything, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so differential is in. I got my axles here. Obviously, I need to take out one of the axles and the other one I don't need to take out. But you guys already know the deal. Basically, I'm going to go ahead and pop in that axle and then pop this axle in. I'm not going to torque them down yet because I got to do the wheel hub. So let's go ahead and basically put these bolts together, tighten the diff up, tighten the drive shaft. I got to put the bolts in still. And then probably bolt up, like I said, these axles. So let's see what's up. Alright, so basically what's going on right now is I went ahead and bolted the diff up completely. The drive shaft is bolted up as well. The axles are just on there hand tight. They're not on there tight because I got to use a torque wrench to bolt those up. Now what I'm going to do is, before I tighten everything completely, is I'm going to do this wheel hub. So let's get cracking on that just to get that out of the way. So we're doing a bunch of stuff at the same time, so let's just get cracking. You guys already know. Alright, so basically what's going on right now, I went ahead and took off the little pin that's here. I loosened the back bolts. All that's left now is to go ahead, and I already loosened this as well. Go ahead and take out the caliper, pull the rotor out. And once the rotor's out, we're gonna go ahead and take a socket that goes right in here. Take this bolt out. Of course, we gotta undo these little bends here. I don't know if you guys can see that. We're gonna undo those bends, spin this out, take the axle out, and then we can get to the hub itself. And by the looks of it, I don't know, that thing might just fall out, but we'll see. Alright, so did a few things off camera. Went ahead and took the axle out. I'm going to show you guys how to do that now. Also went ahead and took off the rotor. I just want to go ahead and explain to you how to do it real quick as I'm doing it, just so you guys have a little more information. So check it out. Alright, so in a nutshell, to take out the axle, it's pretty simple. The method I used is, since I couldn't pull out the axle or whatever, I used a smaller hammer that fits inside the circle. Grabbed the big sledgehammer, and I literally just whacked it until I drove the axle through. So I went ahead and took out the axle. As you see here, this axle, it's actually, the boot is torn. So I'm probably gonna have to replace the boot, but the axle itself is actually pretty good. I mean, I still think I should get new axles or whatever, but it is what it is. I'm gonna have to reuse these for now. So basically, like I'm saying, we gotta go ahead and take off the rotor. To take off the rotor, just go ahead and release the little square bolt that was here. Pull the rotor out, simple as that. And then we have access to the hub bearing, and look at that. This thing is pretty bad. So let me see exactly how to bang this out. Honestly, I think I need a slide tool, which I probably gonna have to rent, but let's see exactly what I need, if I can bang this out or whatever. So let's see. Alright, so basically we got our tool. Came back from the auto parts, rented this little tool. I hate renting tools, but whatever, it is what it is. So this is like a little foot tool. It's basically an axle puller tool. Basically we just go ahead and put this on here, bolt it up. The main reason why we're doing this is since we're trying to take out this hub, we need something to go ahead and bang this sucker back out. Obviously, I can't hit it with the hammer, because if I hit it with the hammer, I'm probably going to damage these little shoes here. So rather than even touch that or mess with it, we're just gonna go ahead and you're gonna see now. I'm just gonna bolt this sucker in, not all the way, just you're gonna see now. Just bolt it up. All right. So once it's more or less where it needs to be, you leave it with a little bit of play, because obviously if you bolt it up too tight when you're trying to take it out, it's gonna be a hard time. But just like a little bit of, you know, a little bit of some. Not too much, just enough. So then you get your slide hammer. Essentially, you just stick the slide hammer in and you start banging it. So we're going to stick this in here. There it goes. So you just bolt that sucker right up. As far as you can get it, not too far, obviously, just, you know, enough. So you can see, look how that wiggles. That's not even supposed to wiggle like that. That's already a bad sign. Alright, so I think it's far enough in. And so we're going to grab our slide hammer, we're just going to bang it out. So let's give this a try. It's my first time doing this, but I mean, we'll see. Bam! Holy shit, the balls came out of that too. So, there you have it. It's out. We even have our little bolitas, our little balls. So we got the hub out. Basically, you just saw it. Look how we just easily take these screws off. We don't have to worry about it, because if we bolted it too much, we'll have to worry about taking it back out. And it's out, just like I said. So now the next thing is we're gonna have our press tool. And then we're going to put our press tool in here. We're going to press this out, press our new one in, put that one in, and we can bolt everything back up. And finally, and I do mean finally, I could actually drive my car. So yeah. Alright, so the next step basically is to go ahead and pull this bearing out. In order to pull the bearing out, you got to use your snap ring pliers. Find the snap ring holes, clamp them down. And when you clamp them down, get your screwdriver, right? Finally, go ahead and take the snap ring out. It's a little bit of pain, but I got it out. Then now it's time to press the bearing out. So essentially, this is our idea of how to take the hub bearing out. We got our 955-11 right here. It's gonna go. We got a washer, put it basically just like this, set the bolt through the back to hold the bearing in place, right? We're going to get a large cup that seats on that, another washer, that's going to go directly on this. Remember, make sure that the cup of the diameter fits around this little ring so you can feed out. So once you do that, go ahead and basically piece it together. It all fits in kind of like Legos. Put this in, and then you got your drive bolt. So, just gonna go ahead and screw that in, which I'm gonna do now. So we got a 32 ratchet in the front. We got an 11/16 holding the back bolt. Basically, we're just gonna go ahead and feed this sucker straight through. So, let's go ahead and put you on the montage or time lapse or whatever they want to call it, and you already know. Alright. Oh my god. Bearings just flew everywhere. So we got the bearing out, as you already saw. More bearings are falling out. You're going to hear it kind of hit the ground a little bit. So this is essentially what we did. Like I said, we had the cup, slightly bigger, everything presses right in, and as I undo this, the more I undo it, the more you're going to see. This is essentially what I did, basically what I showed you already. So this is the hub bearing already basically out, cupped, fell right into here, so just pushed it in, and that's all there is to it. Basic press maneuver, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know. So basically that, So now that we have this bearing out, we got to put the new bearing in. Everything falling out of that thing. You hear that? So I think that was the doing of what caused my diff bolt to break. All this extra play kind of probably jerked it, and I don't know, it's a shot in the dark, but I think that's what's happened. But yeah, time to fix it. Let's do this. Alright, so this is basically our assembly that we're going to go ahead and use to go ahead and put it back in. So more or less kind of how we did already. Put this bolt through the back, bring it in here. I'm going to make sure all this is cleaned out. I already cleaned it, but I'm double checking because I'm paranoid like that. Alright, all that is cleaned out. Bearing, washer, and nut. So now we're just going to go ahead and screw it in until we're screwed in enough. Same case scenario. Remember, it's very key that you get this in very, very center. You don't want it to go in crooked. So once I feel it kind of tight, I'm gonna re-measure one more time, because you don't want to do this incorrectly. I think that's as center as I could get it. Alright, so it's time to start driving this sucker in. So I'm going to put you on the time lapse. I'm going to start trying to go ahead and drive this in. And then, yeah, we'll get right back to you. Alright, so we got the bearing all the way as far in as we could seat it. So it is in to the furthest most inner position. See, this thing rotates no problem. We got no issues with it. And we should be ready to go. So, bam. Now let's go ahead and put on the new wheel hub. Not this garbage. This garbage, you know, it's just... Now that the hub bearing's in, forgot to mention, you got to go ahead and put your snap ring back in. So let's go ahead and do that now. So now the only thing that's left to do is go ahead and put a hub bearing. So I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. I kind of left it outside. There's a little bit of rust on it. Don't kill me here. But then we're gonna go ahead and press this sucker in here. Bam! And then I can finally put my car together. So let's get to that now. All right. So essentially, we're gonna go ahead and grab our tools. The thing that we need the most is this little guy. This little guy mainly so you can hold the middle bearing right there. Because as you start to pull this big boy in, you might push all this in here out. So that's the main reason why you gotta kind of get a smaller bearing, a smaller metal piece to hold this. So we're gonna put this on the other side. It's gonna be like this on the other side, and then we're gonna grab our big style washer, whatever you want to call it, and just slap the sucker right there. So of course, same thing. Just gonna go ahead and do it now. Pull that sucker as well. So essentially, this is the setup. I got it as straight as I can. Got my tool back there ready to go. Just need to grab my wrench and pop it back together. Bam, and just like that, we have our hub bearing in. That wasn't too bad. So let's go ahead and start assembling everything. We'll go ahead and put our brake back on, put everything back together, so we could start finishing this car. So we're almost done. Well, at least getting there. Alright, now that we got this all assembled, it's all ready to go. The only reason it's rubbing is obviously because there's rust on it. The only thing left to do is go ahead and install the axle back in. After we put the axle back in, tighten up all the bolts for the differential, the axles, everything to spec, and then put them in. So I'm gonna start kind of storming through this a little bit. So I'm gonna just go ahead and tackle it by putting this in, and then you guys already know. Alright, so basically I went ahead and fought it. I found a way to more or less draw it out. Keep pushing as hard as you can. I'm not gonna disclose the technique because it was kind of shady the way I did it, but whatever, it's in. You get your, once it's in enough, you get your washer or your nut. Put your nut in. After you go ahead and put the nut, let's go ahead and tighten it down, draw it back out. I believe this has to be torqued down to spec, so let me double check that. I'm gonna go ahead and torque it down if it needs torqued down to spec, and then go from there. Alright, so what we gotta do now we go ahead and get the axle in. We're gonna go ahead and not torque this down to spec yet, which this used 184 foot-pounds of torque, but we're not gonna torque that down yet. We're gonna go ahead and put the drive shaft, not the drive shaft, excuse me. We're gonna go ahead and put the axle bolts, the ones that go to the differential. We're gonna go ahead and tighten those bolts in, and those, if I'm not mistaken, use only 74 foot-pounds of torque. So we're gonna go ahead and torque them down to spec, and then go ahead and torque this down to spec, and we should be good. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so basically in a nutshell, we went ahead and put the axle in, torqued all the bolts down. So all we gotta do is go ahead and torque these to the specification in the star pattern. Torque the bolt from the other side, and we should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Let's get ready to drive. And it's on. So it's on. Excuse the ticking, that's just the injectors. So she's running. So we're gonna go ahead and give her a test drive and really see what's going on with the car. So you guys already know. Basically, we're in the car already. I ain't gonna lie, I've driven it just a little bit. It feels phenomenal. There's no more clunking, nothing like that. That used to be a problem I used to have a lot. I used to have a lot of clunking in the rear. The clunking's actually gone now, which I'm pretty happy about. It's very smooth. It's like a whole new car. The car doesn't even drive the same anymore. It actually drives really good now, considering to where I used to drive it. It doesn't sway as I'm going driving. That was a big issue I was having. It's not clunking. That's another issue I was having. This is smooth, so I'm gonna take you guys along with me so you guys can enjoy this, well, with me. Usually I would have already heard a boom. Have a little bit of exhaust leak. The car feels super smooth. Super smooth. Really, really good. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. Yeah, I would have heard a clunk in between gears. I don't even hear that no more. This is driving amazing. Oh yeah, this is driving, compared to what it was, this is driving amazing. I'm not gonna do a donut or burnout anytime soon right now because I just put this back together, so at least give me that much. But oh yeah. This feels more like my car. So what's going on in a nutshell is the car drives fine. It doesn't clunk, it doesn't sway, it drives straight, drives amazing. I think I did a good job, but we're gonna see over time. I'm gonna recheck the bolts, put the car together, you know, the back seat and you know whatever else I have miscellaneous stuff, you know, the front bumper and stuff. So once that's all together, you guys already know what it is. So I'm gonna leave this here. Like I always say, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned to the channel. I mean, you guys already know what this is. We fix shit. Drive Miami. You guys already know. Peace. My shit broke.